No, is the simple answer. There's a fine balance to be struck in between schools of thought that believe the consumer knows everything, the consumer's views are sacred and everything should be designed around them. But it's the biggest challenge with that is that generally consumers will underestimate what's possible, and the role of expertise of the professional in designing great services is still very much there, but somewhere in between is a sweet spot where citizens designing with professional designers and professional service creators can create services that are better than the sum of the parts that make them. So better than the professionals could have come up with alone, and better than, more ambitious perhaps, than the citizens could have imagined themselves. Fact is, if you're part of a gang, part of a team that's making a service, then yeah, you're going to use it because you have ownership of it. The biggest challenge for government is if you want people to use your services and you're going to use co-creation as a mechanism to gain their interest, then you need to get a very large number of them engaged to fulfill that argument. So it might work for some cases, but most of the examples we've seen here today are based on relatively small samples of people.
Can you give an example? What are the good examples you've seen today?
Some of them are hypothetical and yet to be built or yet to be done. One of them that I'm particularly passionate about is looking at how local government sends letters to people and the fact that most people don't read them. Or if they do read them, they're negative letters telling them that they owe money or they've got a parking ticket or whatever. And the letter, the letter's a wonderful direct way, an expensive direct way to reach into people's homes. Many ideas came out of that about how you could wean people off paper and get them online in order to make it more efficient, but also to make communication more regular than you could ever afford just by using paper. So the whole notion of text, most letters require a yes/no answer or something similar. So text your reply to this number, and in return for that, can you gain some money off, get your next parking ticket for free? It's a bit like in the United Kingdom, British Telecom offer me £1 off my bill because I choose to do everything online. And that's a small gesture, but similar types of things in the public sector would be interesting. One of the things I'm passionate about is optimism. I think there's a lot of reason to be optimistic in this world, despite all the financial woe that appears to be surrounding us. And there's huge opportunity. The only way you'll ever seize it is if you have an optimistic outlook. One that is optimism for me means that you are curious, that you believe there is a better way around the corner if only you seek it out, and that you believe other people, given the right opportunity, can join you in that journey. Unfortunately, in public sector, there is a reputation in the public sector, rightly or wrongly, that people in the public sector are generally pessimistic and see the glass half empty. And the private sector is the sector with the glass half full and the desire to go and be optimistic and invent tomorrow. I think that's wrong, and I think there are plenty of people in the public service who are optimistic, who have great potential to drive the big ideas of tomorrow, and the only thing holding them back is perception and attitude. Post-it notes make ideas accessible to anyone. I do not need the latest system software. I don't need the latest handheld device, silver and shiny and beautiful. I can just walk somewhere. I can see physical stuff. I can move it around myself anonymously. And if I'm lucky, I might meet a real person with whom I can have a dialogue about what I'm seeing on the screen. Now, you can do this online. I think it actually makes the process more complicated than it need be. And the best design processes are where I think you get focused, energetic groups of people together physically with evidence, observation, ideas, and you ask them to really put the thrusters on and get through as many fresh ideas as possible. You can't do that online very easily, and it's much less fun. Prototypes are absolutely essential to innovation. Unfortunately, when you look at the way that most European funding, government funding is issued to organisations that may develop interesting ideas, It's all based around what's your big idea. And the fact is, I don't know what my big idea is yet. I have to go and observe people, I have to find interesting spots where there's an opportunity to develop things, make things better, come up with those ideas, and then test them out. Because I might find quite quickly and early on, actually it was a terrible idea and it doesn't work in practice. Or it works in some contexts and not in others. It's at that point that I want to be applying for the funding to make it mainstream. You cannot, you can't decide what the outcome is going to be of a project, then go and research it and build a prototype. It's all the wrong way around. You start by identifying a problem, perhaps attaching a fund to a problem, and opening it out and saying, who can solve this? And whoever solves it gets the money. And that's what they've done in competitions all over the world for years. I'd love to see more of that. I learnt that there's more similarities between the way that Smart Cities Network people and their departments and organisations are working and the way that creative startup and tech startups are working. I think the startups don't know that. And I think they're probably, I think we're all probably a little bit guilty of thinking local government is behind where private sector and young startups are, and that's not true. I've also learnt that there is still that engrenage in local government where there is still a belief things can't happen unless you get buy-in from the very top. And I don't believe that. I would love to see more troublemakers in public service who just go and do stuff and ask for forgiveness afterwards. So that's one thing I've learned, and I'm throwing it back as a little challenge to see what comes of it. If we could have more entrepreneurial thinking like that in public sector, then I think that it would add a dynamism that's there, but could be so much more.
Thank you.